Hello, Grissom Choir. This is Level 6 Music Theory Review. The first concept, the only concept on Level 6, is spelling, drawing, and notating major triads when you're given the root. The root is the foundation, otherwise known as the bottom note, or the key signature. So, you must always remember, you have to think like you are in the key of the note that is given, whether it's B major, A flat major, you got to think like you're in the key of B or A flat. A triad, remember, should be line, 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 or space, space, space. We always put accidentals to the left of the note on the staff, and it also does not matter which octave you draw the triad in. So, let's first speak through these first three processes. Process number one, we must draw the triad with the given note as the bottom. So for the first example, being in B major, that triad would be B, D, and F. Let's go ahead and do this on this first example. Zooming in, B major. Now, it would not matter whether you put the B right there or the B right there, as both of those notes are B. I would choose, personally, the middle one, so it is a little bit easier for you. So that first process, we draw the triad, B major. So you would have B, the next line would be D, the next line would be F. I'm going to label those right here to the side, B, D, and F. There is just a basic chord, not necessarily a major chord, but just a basic chord on B major, B, D, F. The second portion of the process, list what flats or sharps are in that major key. So we know, based off of, I believe the sharp key was level 4.2, we know that B major is a sharp key, and it has 5 sharps, F, C, G, D, and A. I'm going to go ahead and list them down right here. F sharp, C, G, D, and A. So you must know 4.1, 4.2, and 4.3, the order of the sharps and the order of the flats. I would, at the beginning of every test, go ahead and write out the order of the flats, B, G, C, F, and the order of the sharps, which is that backwards, F, C, G, D, A, E, B. All right, that was step 2, where we're listing the sharps or flats that are in that key. The 5 sharps that are in B major are F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and A sharp. Now what we have to do is put accidentals beside the notes that are listed. So the notes that we originally drew are B, D, and F. We go down to the letters that we said were sharped in the key, and we identify if any of the original notes that we drew are one of these 5. So D sharp would be sharp because we identified it as being sharp in the key, as well as F sharp. That then would be a B major chord on B, D sharp, and F sharp. If you left one of those sharps off on D or F, it would not be a major chord. It would be either a minor chord or an augmented chord. You have to make sure that any of these notes right here that you drew, if they are sharp in the key signature or flat based off the key, you have to acknowledge them and put whether it's sharp or flat in the key signature. We're going to do one more example all together before you go on and finish the rest of them. A flat major. Go ahead right now, draw the chord. Locate where A is on the staff of the treble clef. That would be right here. A, C, and E. The next portion, the next part of the process is listing the flats or sharps that are in the key. So, A flat major is a flat key. The flats in that flat key would be B flat, E flat, A flat, then we go one past it, D flat. Excellent. Now, if any of these original notes that we drew, if it is one of these flatted notes, we have to put a flat next to it. So obviously, A flat has to be flatted because it's a part of the key signature. It's the name of the key signature. C is not flatted because it is not flat in the key signature, but E is. So we do have to put a flat E flat there, excuse me. A major chord based off of A flat as the root is A flat, C, and E. Now what I want you to do is pause the video, go ahead and complete these next 5 examples: G major, E flat major, C major, D major, and G flat major. Once you are done with them, you may replay the video, and we will continue to do these all together. Moving on to this next one, we have G major. G major is a sharp key, and there is one sharp in that sharp key. It is F sharp. So I actually accidentally skipped a step. I would go ahead first, write your chord on G major: G, B, D, G, B, D. F sharp has already been identified as being the only sharp in the key of G major. F sharp is not one of those notes that we drew, so that would be complete. The G major chord, based off of G as the root, is G, B, and D. Going on to the next example, E flat major. Go ahead and draw that chord. Bottom line of the treble clef is E, so you'd have E, G, and then B. E, G, B. The flats that are in the key of E flat major: B flat, E flat, and then you have to go one past it to A flat. Obviously, the name of the key of E is E flat major, so you have to have a flat next to it, next to that E, and it is written there below the E flat major. G is not flat, but B is that first one in the sequence of the flat, so you have to put a flat next to it. A major chord based off of E flat major with E flat as the root is E flat, G, B flat. Next example, this one's a tricky one. C major, so you have to find your C, C, E, G. Please remember, it is line, 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 or space, space, space. C, E, G. C major has no flats. It has no flats, and it has no sharps. So it's tricky because it's the easiest one. C major, boom, there it is, C, E, G. Next example, D major. Go ahead and draw that chord. This one, you can either draw line, line, ledger line, or what I would do, I would just do the D below the E, the bottom line, D, F, and A. D, F, and A. Now we have to figure out what sharps are in the key of D major. Those sharps would be F sharp, C sharp. F sharp and C sharp are the only 2 sharps in D major. Now we go back to our original 3 notes, and we put sharps next to any of the notes that we have listed as being in the key. That would only be F sharp. So a D major chord would be D, F sharp, and A. Our last one, G flat major. Go ahead, draw that triad, line, 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 G, B, and D. Now you have to list the flats that are in the key of G flat major. That would be B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, and C flat. Now take these 6 flats and put flats next to the original 3 notes if it is listed. That would be, of course, a G flat, a B flat, as well as the D flat. So all 3 notes would be flat. A G flat major chord, G flat, B flat, and D flat. That finishes up the Level 6 Music Theory Review. Please make sure you go over anything leading up to this point that you need to go over. And if you have any questions, please come talk to me.